Alright, this week in the Powerlifting for Aesthetics series, we're going to be talking about how to brace for the squat. Bracing for the squat isn't inherently different from the other movements, but we do see that it is very much more butchered than the other variations in powerlifting. The squat is ideally a movement where we go straight down, straight up. We want to have a fairly solid trunk position where the ribs are stacked over the pelvis. However, a lot of the times what we instead see is where there is a lot of lumbar extension and anterior pelvic tilt. And by that I mean the person sets up and they really arch the back hard through this position where they're trying to essentially use static stability to find as much support as possible to get through the lift. Contrasting that static stability idea where we're jamming the set joints together, our belief is that we want to use the musculature and our nervous system to support instead of the bony system. So by having our vertebrae stacked on each other instead of jammed together, we're able to use our musculature to keep our position and think of this more in a long-term perspective. In order to do that, in a previous video we've talked about 360-degree bracing, where we utilize our brace through our trunk position, thinking that we want to have a pushing out kind of idea in all degrees of our abdomen. So we're trying to push at the front, so using the abs, pushing at the sides with the obliques, having our back involved, getting our diaphragm on the top and our pelvic floor on the bottom involved. It's like if you imagine a balloon in my stomach, I'm trying to push down from all angles. Then assisting with that, I'm going to try and get my lats more involved, so when I set up for my squat, I'm going to be actually pulling down on the bar, and then I'm also going to get my glutes engaged too before I begin the lift. And so when you see the video in a moment, I'll be setting up where I brace all around, trying to get that 360-degree perspective. I'm pulling down on the bar, whether it's high bar or low bar, getting my elbows involved to get my lats engaged, and then I'm also getting my pelvis more engaged by getting my glutes active and ready to go down in that position. Now, if you're a lifter who's trying to get more ingrained with your belt and using it properly, it's a great tool to learn this 360-degree brace even better. What you can do is you put your belt on a little bit looser than usual, generally about 1 notch less than you normally do. And then what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and fill it up. So I'm not going to try and arch, because when I arch, I actually lose space in here. Whereas if I keep a nice good stacked position of my vertebrae, and then I breathe into my belly, and I push out, I'm able to fill up that belt even more. And that way, when I secure it tighter, I'll be able to create even more intra-abdominal pressure. So this week in the Powerlifting for Aesthetics series, we talked about how to properly brace for the squat. As I said, we want to focus on dynamic stability, keeping the long-term health perspective in mind, where we're focusing on keeping vertebrae stacked, not jammed together, using our musculature and our nervous system to keep us engaged, and then learning how to properly use the bar to stay as tight as possible, getting the lats engaged, then also getting the pelvis engaged. Following that, if you are using a belt, how to properly use that belt to the best of your advantages so that we can keep our spine nice and healthy and lift the most weight possible. So check us out more on roughcityathletics.com or on Facebook. And if you're interested in the Powerlifting for Aesthetics program, where we are pushing people to get stronger and more jacked, then email me at sam@roughcityathletics.com, and we'll catch you guys next week.